continuing our topic on the how Bach makes his transcriptions for the harpsichord from Violin works. And we are still talking about the second unaccompanied violin sonata. And this time we are starting with the fugue. So, naturally for the harpsichord, we have two hands, so we can play more notes. And Bach would supply a new accompaniment, accompanying counterpoint to what he has already written. So at the start of the fugue, there's a small episode that goes like this. That's the original violin version. And then in the harpsichord version, there's a new bass line. I mean, that all sounds quite natural and easygoing. And most of the added line is like that. But then there are sometimes some cases where Bach adds a bit of punch into the harmony. So let's hear this example. That is from Bar 103 of the fugue, and we have LAM Tim Wai from Germany to play, do a demonstration for us. And the harpsichord version in sounds like this, and then we're transposing this back to the original key of the violin version, so we can compare more easily. So the difference comes on the this chord. This one. This will be the violin version, but in the harpsichord version, we have a diminished chord instead of a dominant seventh. And the diminished chord adds more tension to the music. And then it's a lot of these things will go in this kind of direction. So the added chords, the added harmony adds expressivity to the music, to the harmony, and that makes up for the harpsichord's limitation in being expressive through dynamic control and volume control. Okay, and then this next example is from Bar 139. Let's hear the violin version first. And the harpsichord version goes. So the difference comes at the subject. So the original version goes. So it's a straightforward dominant chord and then the tonic. But in the harpsichord version, we have tonic and then suspended. What chord is that? Straight chord. So dominant, tonic. This is a 4 but suspended, so it should be a diminished. And then the dominant. And then similar figure, but even more elaborate, is from bar 240. So let's hear the violin version. And the harpsichord version. So, even for the episodic material at the front, the left hand is already starting to want to come through with something zesty and more intentions. But the real special part is when this theme comes in partially. So again, in the violin version, it's a simple dominant tonic dominant, tonic dominant dominant. Sorry. Straightforward progression. But in the harpsichord version, we have another diminished chord here. Another one. And then, apart from being diminished, it's the chromatic movement. That for me makes it so special. And then there's one more bit of chromaticism in this sonata, and that's at the end of the first movement. So let's hear the violin version. And the harpsichord version. This time I play in the transposed key of the harpsichord version because it makes more sense being in a lower register. So in the violin version, we have just a long note at the end, and then a trill. But in the harpsichord version, the long note is filled in by not by an ornament, but it's an ornament, but it's a very elaborate ornamentation with the chromatic scale. So it goes. This kind of modifications, and to that sort of extent, is it's not found in the concertos, but there still are some small changes in the concerto that affects the harmony, and we'll go over two of those. First is in the D major concerto, which is the E major violin concerto. So. In the third movement, in the first solo episode, so that's bar 29. So in the original violin version, we have the violin solo and the cello bass line that goes. But in the harpsichord version, the bass line becomes something different. So instead of we have. And then the bass line goes a lot lower. So the whole thing is gives a different feel. So lighter probably for me. And then in the G minor concerto, which is the A minor violin concerto, we have in the first movement bar 71. So this is the original version. In the violin version goes something like this. And then the harpsichord version goes the bit in the middle. So so that's a different part, different bit. So the violin version doesn't go quite so low. It goes up one step, but when the harpsichord version goes down to the tonic. Oops. So yes, that bit of tonic harmonically it doesn't change the chord, but it's that just this going down to the bottom of the root of the tonic sort of gives it that little bit more of intensity. And so again, it comes back to how Bach finds ways to not compensate, kind of, or rather just to make use of what's in the harpsichord, and to do justice to his musical ideas. Okay, so that's what we've got for today. Thank you for listening, and look forward to next time. Thank you.